First of all, I want to thank you for tuning in to this episode. Now, most times I don't thank people until the end of the episode, but for this specific one, I would really want to thank you for tuning in. This episode is going to be more about our being broken and not being beaten. And in this case, I mean that your pain may just be what one was waiting for to heal, or your healing could be the beginning of someone's breakthrough. Obviously, we can't heal if we have not been broken. So what if I told you that your lowest moment, that moment where you completely felt broken, was not the end of the story, but the beginning in someone else's breakthrough? I got the idea to do this episode from Men Gather. Now, over the weekend, that was on Saturday, I was able to attend Men Gather. Obviously, I wouldn't miss it because most of what they were talking about, or the whole idea behind Men Gather, is kind of also the whole idea behind my podcast. Just trying to uplift people and see how we tackle those hard conversations and see how we learn from the stories of our life. Now, during Men Gather, one of the preachers, I think it was during Apostle Grace's prophetic word and revelation, I actually believe that this man is really a man of God, but that will be a discussion for next time. He echoed out that you only have much to share when you're broken. Now, the magnitude to which you're broken is the magnitude to which your story will impact the world. Now, many of us may have not gotten broken in some weird ways or what. Those very, very heavy things. Personally, I've not really faced much struggle, and I thank the Lord for that. But people who have, their stories tend to change your perspective of life and change even the way you think about the simple things that are going on in your life. Now, before you even hear someone else's story, you may think that you are going through the worst part of your life. However, what that person is going through could change your perception about what you're going through. And even before you go through something, there is always someone that has always gone through that before you. And that's why the idea that your pain, you as you, whatever you're going through right now, may just be what one is waiting for to heal. So always, the whole thing about this episode will be that always share that story. You never know who you're going to heal. Now, I'm left to believe that the struggles we have in our life are not built for us, but however to set up the next generation. If you look at the hassles that mankind has went through to see that we are where we are, it is because someone struggled somewhere. And because they struggled, they set up a better future for us. The same thing will make me believe that breaking isn't the end, but a transition or a preparation for the future. You either learn from your break or you keep in the loop. And keeping in the loop is not healing. So here in this episode, I'm going to talk about only people who actually heal, because people that actually heal are the ones that impact the world. Because when you heal from that break, that thing, that pain, you are ready to give people the right advice or the right thing to do in their lives, to turn their lives around. Now, talking about breaking, think about it. For a seed to become a tree, it has to break. Now, I'm speaking more like a philosophical guy, but it's a reality. For any seed to grow into a big tree, it has to first break from its shell or from its cover to become the tree it has to become. Even the greatest men in the Bible, that is, name it, Job, Joseph, Isaac, Moses, Noah, Abraham, all of them had to go through something that was sort of a suffering time, pain, to become the fulfilling people that God called. It doesn't mean that every time you have to go through pain for you to be successful, but I mean, there's always something you sacrifice for you to reach where you are. To me, pain isn't just suffering, but it is transformation in disguise. Now, here is one thing. Once you heal for others. Have you ever noticed that people who have been through the worst thing in life always give the best advice, or they know the best way for you to go out of whatever you're dealing with? The person who has lost everything and rebuilt his life again is always a very good mentor. Someone who has overcome a heartbreak always helps others to find love. Even people who have gone through mental breakdowns, mental sickness, that darkness, they later become the light in other people's darkness. Why? The pain that they had was for others. It was to give others a starting point. Because as human beings, life is a cycle. If I happen to go through something, it is courtesy, or I believe that the world and its nature gave me that experience before the other person, so that I can become that other person's angel in the future. I can become that other person's guide in the future. What am I driving to? Whenever you see someone going through exactly what you went through, give them the best way to move out of that. Most especially if it's a bad thing. And definitely if it's a bad thing, that's the best way to impact that person's life. Do not let people run and hit themselves because you also hit yourself, and you're like, let them know how it feels, because I also felt it. I believe for the world to go faster, for the world to move to the right direction, we are supposed to help each other. Obviously to a magnitude, not to the whole thing, because I also believe in the notion that no one is coming to save you. The person that came to save us, this is a bad joke, but the person that came to save us already saved us and left. And now there is no more for anyone to save you. You have to catch up your things and run after your life. Oh, going back to pain, I want you to know that your pain is your power. Your pain is the beginning of someone's healing. Now, how do you turn your pain into power? One of the things you have to do is accept the breaking season. Accept that this is a very bad place that I'm in, but I can be in a better place. Because if you never accept that you're in a bad position, you always hold on to something that is not serving you. I'll talk painfully, but I'll say I've been going through what could be the most complicated kind of relationship with someone. And one thing that I've always not considered in my life is accepting that this is not serving me anymore. This is actually just breaking me slowly by slowly, breaking my confidence, breaking my belief in myself, things of that sort. Because this is my side of the story. I don't know if she will ever have her side of the story, because I really don't understand her side of the story. But to cut the whole story and make it short so that I keep on what I was actually saying, is that I've lived to now believe that this had to now come to an end, and feel the pain, feel the break, feel everything in the season. It has taken me about a month, and when I look at her pictures, I'm like, really? Did you really have to do something like that? Did you really have to treat me like that? Did you really have to put me in such a position? I don't want to break a lot in this episode about that, but if I ever get the chance to speak about relationships, maybe I'll bring that up. Then the other thing you have to do is to seek healing and not a distraction. Now, the first time it ever happened, I didn't seek for healing. I looked for a distraction. I ended up having a situationship and broke someone's heart because I didn't go in for the long term. I went in for the short term, for the excitement, and yet this person wanted the long term, wanted to start something in me. Now I regret it because looking back, it was a very stupid move. But all I was doing was seeking a distraction. I was seeking healing. Now I have a rule that I'll have to take at least half a year, 6 months, before I indulge in any other thing of that sort. I have to be very sure that I have healed and I have moved on. The other thing you have to do is share your story. Now, I haven't really shared my story, but I've given a few highlighters. You could say the trailer of the story. But share your story. Share your story. Whatever broke you, share your story. Share your story, because it is in testimony, it is in sharing that story that people get to heal also on their side. One thing that human beings love is to realize that they are not in something alone. Because remember, we are not solitary beings. We don't stay alone. We always want to stay with people. We always want to feel like I'm not going through something alone. So whenever you share your story, you're always helping other people learn and break through the pain. Because one thing you don't know is that broken people recognize broken people. When you are going through something tough, you will always see another person that is going through the same thing, but they're either pretending about it or something like that. But it's because us recognizing broken people can help all of us in a whole. I think we should embrace it. Tell your story, because you don't know which seed you're planting in anyone's life. Yeah. Otherwise, I think you've got the steps on how you can turn your pain into power. Accept the breaking season. Seek healing and not a distraction. Share your story, because it is in the story that the power is ignited. I'd love to end here, but also say that if you're going through something that is really paining you and really disturbing you, share it with someone, because even you, that's where your healing begins from. Because that person could have a similar circumstance that they went through. Yes, I'll leave you at this and say, you're not broken. You can always do something after you break. Just something that the bishop said during Men Gather is, even broken crayons can still write. Broken crayons can still write. Keep that in your mind, that your break is not the end. It's the beginning of another chapter. And if we use the analogy of a broken crayon, when you break a crayon into two, that means there's a possibility of now having two people that can actually draw. That means in that break, there can be more than one life impacted. Yes, I'll end it here. Thank you for listening. Keep it at Bezos Chibozi. And I'll see you next Monday. Yeah. Peace out.